Good morning. We are midway through the week. Hope you're having a great day. The fog has lifted and sunshine comes our way, it looks like tomorrow afternoon after a little bit of rain today and into the morning hours. If you're safely at home or perhaps at work watching the show this morning and you or someone you know is dealing with some hip pain, possibly looking at a hip replacement, get a bit closer to the TV and listen to what Dr. Benji Miller has to share this morning. He's an orthopedic surgeon with the Center for Sports Medicine, and he says good news, that hip replacement might not be what you need. Nice to see you this morning.
Good morning.
You know, it is amazing once you become a patient of any kind, you so appreciate the advances in medicine. You as a surgeon are really seeing that, how surgeries can be more and more easy on the body and less invasive. This hip arthroscopy is an example of that.
That's right. So just like the shoulder and the knee, we can put the camera in the hip joint and solve some problems in the hip that might help us to not need a hip replacement.
So I guess there are different reasons that a person would need a hip replacement. Can this arthroscopy be a different option for any of those reasons, or only with a certain medical condition?
Just certain medical conditions. So when you need a hip replacement, the cartilage in the joint, the cartilage is the part of the hip joint or any joint, the end of the bone that makes the joint move smoothly. And so when the cartilage is damaged, then in a hip, knee, or shoulder, then after we fail conservative treatment and management, some people require replacement. In the hip and the shoulder as well, there's soft tissue cartilage called the labrum that helps with stability of the joint. And sometimes hip pain is caused by the labrum. And so we can go in and repair the labrum with hip arthroscopy by putting the camera in, and it's a minimally invasive, small little incisions, just like we can do in the knee and the shoulder. And in a lot of people that have this specific problem, we can, have a minimally invasive approach that can get them out of pain.
So sometimes you can have, I think this is right, tell me if I'm on track here or not, you can have issues with your labrum or an impingement, and it won't even require a full hip replacement, but still in all, to get in there and address it, you got to have that massive scar. So does this work for those patients too?
Exactly. So a lot of times the labrum tear is caused by impingement, and impingement essentially is some people genetically are just born and their hip forms and the ball is not quite as round as it needs to be. And that can create a problem with the articulation of this ball in the socket. And it can, the ball can kind of hit on the socket with range of motion. And that can cause soft tissue damage in the hip. And that's what we're talking about repairing with the camera. And obviously, with any problem, we'll exhaust all the conservative management first. Sometimes injections help. A lot of times physical therapy can be helpful, activity modification, things like that.
Sure.
But if we fail those things, then certainly sometimes surgery is an option.
When you're talking about the healing process and how this is the less invasive nature of this arthroscopy, then whatever you're having to do to go in there and correct, that is its own thing. But by not having this huge incision, does that help the recovery time and the pain?
In some ways it does. Anytime you have a joint replacement, many times we tell people that it takes them about a year to get all the way back. Certainly 6 weeks or so, people are feeling a lot better and doing well. With hip arthroscopy or other arthroscopies, certainly getting over that initial incisional pain is quicker. Sometimes if we repair soft tissue, the soft tissue does take some time to heal, and it does take a lot of physical therapy, but you don't have that big incisional pain like you said.
I have a little over a minute. You're talking about the conservative approach that, of course, you want to take. Nobody wants to go under the knife, so to speak, unnecessarily. Still in all, when you hurt, you hurt. So how long do you try to gauge it before you make that decision to move forward with the surgery?
I think I always tell a lot of patients that if it's entering your daily life, if you can't sleep at night, people are fairly miserable when they can't sleep. If you're just having pain with daily activities, sitting at your desk, you can't work out or be as active as you need to be. Certainly we'll, like we said before, we'll try to do some conservative management, but if conservative management doesn't help and you are not being as active as you want to be with your kids or just exercising or just living your daily life, that might be a consideration.
Well, thank you for the education this morning. Anybody who's gone through a conventional hip replacement knows how wonderful this arthroscopy could be to save some of that frustration and aggravation. So thank you, Dr. Benji Miller.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank you.
You too. And you can find Dr. Miller at the Center for Sports Medicine. Their main number there on McCauley, 624-2696. Online at sportmed.com. And this arthroscopy he was talking about is also good for your shoulder and other things as well. We're back with more 3+U in just a minute.